flower storm. This flower began as a bulb underground. Colors began to spring forth as it grew. Each color was a fragrance, and so not only did the flower look beautiful, but it also smelled quite lovely. The colors did not try to be like each other. They knew that each color had a reason for being what it was. The fragrances did not try to be like each other. They knew that each fragrance had a purpose. They all dwelt upon one stem. It was this stem that gave them life. One day, in the middle of winter, Red brushed against Pink and whispered, "I am darker and more lovely than your faded pale self." Pink was famished with shock and disbelief. No one had ever talked to Pink like that. Red then leaned into the soft violet and chided, "You are lower on the stem because you are a lesser fragrance." These were words never before heard or even thought on the stalk. The flutter of wind and heart was a mournful sigh, and yet the red continued on, comparing itself to all the others, berating and degrading. Astounding colors began to fade. Flower fragrances no longer flowed. The flower storm began. The roots spoke. Never in the life of the flower had the roots taken voice. They were silent and deep. Their firm vibration was felt in the heart of all the flowers. "Enough of this," resounded the silent roots. Their voice was more of a shaking than a series of words. It was a most inward shaking, not one that could be seen with the outer eyes. "That which is our glory is seeking to be our demise. We are apart, yet together. If we enter into conflict, we will all fall from the stem of life." "What is it that causes you to compare one to another?" asked the roots. "We are the roots. We don't try to be the petals. We have a somber and honest, dirt-like fragrance, not a willowing, fluttering scent. We know who we are and stand in the goodness of that knowledge." "I am soft violet," stated the fairy-like fragrance of lilting dance. "I am soft violet because the bulb from which I grew gave me this." "I am rose pink," harmonized the billowing fragrance of the next floral scent. "I only want to be as I was made." "As I do," responded the next flower. "I am the maze in the middle." Red was silent. There was no one else to contend with except oneself. And that is where the storm actually began, in the beginning. Red understood that outer comments mirrored back what was in her heart. Red looked at her torn petals. She looked at the stem of life and the colors surrounding her. She remembered who she was and why she was. She sighed a deep, resounding sigh. The fragrance of her life surrounded her. It was a good fragrance, and she was grateful. The flower storm ceased.